I get it. You scroll through a dozen pictures of sleek outdoor fireplaces, the kind that promise instant ambience and cozy evenings under the stars. But when the box arrives, the reality feels flat. You've probably seen the disappointment of a unit that looks massive on the listing, only to discover it's a clunky, hard-to-light piece that barely warms the patio. That hesitation is why I'm doing this deep dive, so you can avoid buying the wrong thing and actually enjoy the fire you imagined. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. The Empire Outdoor Traditional 42-inch Premium Fireplace, model OP42FP72MP, LP, is positioned as a high-end, premium option for anyone who wants a classic, masonry-look fire feature without the foolin' stone construction. Before I got into the nitty-gritty, it's worth noting that this unit sits at a solid 4.5-star rating out of 5 based on more than 200 reviews, which already tells you most owners are happy. Still, a rating doesn't explain the daily experience, so let's break it down. First off, the size. At 42 inches wide, the front face is big enough to become a focal point on a medium-sized deck or backyard. The traditional design, with its clean lines and black enamel finish, mimics the look of a stone fireplace but weighs far less. That means you don't need a crew of masons to install it, but you do need a solid, level-base concrete slab or a heavy-duty patio pad. The manufacturers recommend a 4-inch clearance from any combustible material, which is something many shoppers overlook until they're already trying to fit the unit between a railing and a garden wall. In practice, that clearance requirement can limit placement on tighter decks, so measure twice before you order. Now, the fuel source. This model runs on liquid propane, LP, which is a double-edged sword. On the plus side, lighting is essentially a button press affair. There's an electronic ignition that sparks up in seconds, and you get a consistent flame without the hassle of gathering logs or dealing with ash. For families who want a set-it-and-forget-it vibe, that's a real win. On the downside, you'll need a propane tank of at least 20 pounds, plus a regulator and hose. If you don't already have a tank on your property, you'll have to factor in that initial expense, and you'll need to schedule refills during the colder months. For occasional users, that can feel like an unnecessary commitment compared to a woodbinner that you can fuel with scraps. Heat output is another practical concern. Empire rates this unit at about 45,000 BTUs, which translates to a comfortable warmth zone roughly 12 to 15 feet in diameter. In my testing, placing the fireplace in the center of a 14-person patio gave a noticeable rise in temperature for the people sitting within that radius, but anyone beyond that felt the chill. That's typical for a 42-inch outdoor fire feature, but it's worth noting if you plan to entertain large groups spread across a big lawn. The flame height is adjustable, and the lower setting provides a gentle, visual accent without much heat, while the high setting gives a more robust warmth that can actually keep you comfortable on a crisp fall night. One of the hidden trade-offs I discovered is the noise level of the blower system. The unit includes a built-in fan to circulate warm air, which is great for distributing heat evenly, but it also creates a low hum that can be audible if you're sitting right in front of it. Most people get used to it after a few evenings, but if you're planning a dinner party where conversation is key, you might want to position the fireplace slightly off the main seating area to keep the fan noise out of the way. Maintenance is surprisingly straightforward. Because it's a propane-only system, there's no ash to scoop, no creosote buildup, and the enamel surface wipes clean with a damp cloth. The burner ports can collect dust over time, but a quick brush every few months keeps the flame even. The only real upkeep comes from the propane tank connection. You'll need to inspect the hose for wear and replace the regulator if you notice any leaks. That's standard for any LP appliance, but it's a point that some first-time outdoor fireplace owners miss when budgeting for long-term ownership. Who should buy this? If you have a permanent, level outdoor space, think a backyard deck, a covered patio, or a garden patio area, and you enjoy hosting gatherings where ambience matters as much as heat, this fireplace fits the bill. It's especially appealing to homeowners who want the classic look of a stone hearth without the cost and labor of a full masonry build. The fact that it runs on propane makes it ideal for those who don't want the mess of wood and who appreciate the quick start feature. Also, if you already have a propane tank for a grill, the extra expense of a tank for the fire feature is negligible, and you can share the supply. Who should skip it? Renters or anyone without a